Welcome to Master Powercast. We're back with full-fledged show this week. Tyler is hopefully mostly recovered now.
Yeah.
At this point, I want to thank everyone that joined me for that Slacker Saturday stream that I did last week, taking some questions, rambling on about some stuff. But Tyler,
I was going to ask you what'd you do last Saturday, because I have no idea what it was.
Oh yeah, Tyler and I didn't discuss this. I just went ahead and streamed, and I had a few topics of things I wanted to just like talk about, and so I just did that and just interacted with the chat and took comments, questions, and just kind of hung out for about an hour and a half. But let's briefly delve into how terrible you. And I hate to smile while I'm saying this, but like you were out.
I don't remember. I don't think I've ever experienced an illness as bad as that was, and no bullshit, no exaggeration. Talking about 24 hours a day, constant aches, headaches, chills, like intense sweats, and living in the bathroom, and then it's laying in bed. Don't even want to read comics, watch movies, nothing. Just laying in bed.
Laying there in silence.
Just lay there in silence and be fucking miserable, and could barely sleep. It was. I wouldn't have wished it on my worst enemy. I told Nathan, I was like, no joke, man. It was awful, and it really fucked up my my appetite. I couldn't eat anything for 4 days, not even a little cup of Jello, without thinking I was going to throw up. It's just just constant nausea. It's people, be careful out there, man. Like, I don't know where I got it, because I don't know of anyone who had it, but it was a neurovirus. Doctor confirmed that. So people, I can't stress enough, wash your damn hands. Mm-hmm. Watch the doorknobs and shit people touch, because I see it all the time. People are always picking their nose and digging in the butt and God knows what else, and just wanted to lick their fingers and touch everything, and don't care about what they got or what they're getting over. So just please, people, be careful.
Yeah. I mean, you would think after going through the pandemic and stuff that people would be, I guess, not a little more aware of that, but I guess, we're right back. Everything's normal again. So whatever.
Well, even back then, people, I feel like, were being, very neglectful, and I mean, there was some that were full scale panic about things, but and with good reason. But there were still people who were just like oblivious and just didn't care. Didn't want to take that 20 seconds to wash your damn hands.
Yeah.
And not much has changed.
Yeah. So just make sure you wash your hands. We'll get on to our main topic here.
I'm just glad to be doing this, and just.
Because that was you got sick on what, like Saturday
in the middle of the night on Saturday, and I was out of work for 4 days. I don't miss work ever. Maybe a day.
True. He doesn't.
That's it. And I ran out of sick days and vacation days, so had to go in on my day off to make up for one of those lost days. So hopefully the paycheck doesn't suffer too much. But do what you got to do, man.
Yeah. Nope. Because I was texting you there, and I'm like, "How you feeling?" You're like, "No, not good."
Yeah,
I think early on, I told you, I was like, "That kind of sounds like neurovirus, man."
Yeah. And unfortunately, there was nothing I could take for it. I did take a sleep aid, because I was up for 24 straight hours, like towards the very end, where I didn't sleep at all. And
you're just pulling a me then at that point.
And it wasn't fun either. Like, I'm just laying in bed staring at the ceiling, or staring, at nothing. You can't sleep. You're just constantly, you're wide awake.
Was that a thing too, where like if you even attempted to try to watch something, it would make you nauseous?
No, because
I've been in that period before, where like you're so just motion sick too, like you're clearly just vomiting and everything, but just watching TV or something and seeing stuff move around, like all you want to do is just like lay and close your eyes and just
I would just put on something on YouTube and try and listen to the kind of random shit, nothing of great interest, or something, or maybe things I just listen to, but just something to kind of entertain my brain, but lay there with my eyes closed and just hoping I could just kind of check out and maybe fall asleep for a little bit. But I'm at home still trying to make orders while I'm sick as a dog. That way, my job doesn't get completely screwed up, when I go back. And, so I couldn't really sleep too much, because people text me, all right, you need this, here's pictures of this and this and this and this and this. And it needed to be done.
Yeah.
But when I was done, I'm like, I didn't want to get up and go in the den and watch anything. I didn't do anything until the day I went to the doctor, and I finally finished watching Daredevil season 3. or Born Again, excuse me.
Yeah.
Not season 3. I finally finished watching that.
Okay.
And enjoyed the hell out of that. And
oh, good.
Yeah, no, I was like, I can't wait for season 4.
Yeah, it was like, aside from that one episode with the bank and everything,
which I enjoyed that episode. I'd forgotten you had said anything about that, and I genuinely thought that was an enjoyable episode because it was off the beaten path a little bit, but it's a good Matt Murdock story of, running into something that, all right, how am I going to get out of this? How are we going to get these people out of this? And
yeah,
I found it to be quite enjoyable. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you finished it and watched it. Cause
I hate that it took me so long, but I think just because it was an episode per week, and I'm tired. I'd get in late from work and just didn't want to make the time. And next thing you know, the whole season is done. And everyone, you and others have said, "Oh, it's great, you got to finish." Like, I'm going to watch it, and which is my whole reason for even subscribing to the damn Disney, streaming service anyway was for that. And so I finally got that under my belt, and I think I watched some X-Men cartoons or something like that too. But I after that, it was just didn't want to do anything. Like getting up and getting something to drink was hard. Going to the bathroom was hard. It was just, your head throbs when you try to move, sit up. And
he should have had you a bucket beside the bed, dude.
Well, thankfully I didn't do that. I just did. I only threw it once.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's good. The way you were making it sound, it was just like constantly like.
Oh no, I was constantly in the bathroom. I just wasn't throwing up.
Oh.
Yeah, I just did that one time because I got nauseous, and the food. I tried eating my regular food, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't agreeing with me.
Yeah.
So it was. I felt like I lost a ton of weight, not in a good way. Like it just felt.
Oh no! Well, yeah, obviously.
Drained and overly depleted. It just took me forever to get my strength back up and trying to eat kind of consistently. I mean, now I'm back to normal, but it just it was scary, dude. It was scary. It felt like it was endless. I felt like I was sick for weeks, and it's. I hate that I missed this, but like trying to get in some extra time work, I was just like, I can't do everything.
Oh, so, no, yeah, no, you're
so
it happens, man.
Yeah, but that was I'd much rather have some shitty cold that just lingers for 2 weeks as opposed to that stuff, man. It really screwed with my system, and just it was awful, man. A nightmare.
Yeah, it's nothing to mess with. I see it happen a lot with neurovirus runs rampant through like families, so it's just like a kid gets it and then the whole.
Oh god, that's why I'm glad I don't have kids. You hear about my nephews getting sick all the time. Next, the whole family gets sick. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
love kids, but they carry germs all the time, man.
Yeah, and you got a family thing next weekend, so be careful.
Which I'm already thinking about that as well. So believe me, if I got to carry hand sanitizer in my pocket at all times, I'm going to
just show up with those rubber gloves that come to about right here, and just rock that.
I wouldn't mind doing that. It's like, people, you don't understand what I went through. I don't want to get it again or anything else. Not very long. Well, I don't want to get sick again ever, but unfortunately our bodies are just not immune to picking up a nasty cold or a flu or some sort of fucking infection. And people are just all about, I was sick last week, I'm fine. Like, is there doing this with their nose constantly? And
it's just allergies.
Yeah, it's allergies. I'm like, man, I wish I could say that's allergies with me, but it's never allergies. It's always trying to be a fucking cold.
Yeah. Well, we will move on to our topic. Tyler,
I'm glad our
we'll circle back around to all the off-topic stuff towards the end when we're taking questions and stuff.
I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're feeling better, because it sounded miserable. I even joked with you. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I'd rather have that and be at work. You're like, no, you don't want this.
I'd much rather been dealing with morons for 7 straight days for 12-hour days than to deal with a quarter of what I dealt with, man. Yeah. Like, no fucking joke, dude. I'd have gladly worked 12 hours, 5 days straight, even on a Friday, 12 hours. Than to deal with that.
I don't know. I think you're going too far with that.
No, I don't. No, I do not.
Well, the topic, whose mini comic is it anyway? We did one of these a few months back with Tom, and he was here. So the whole basis of this is we're going to have 4 different wheels, and it's going to be randomized. We're going to have a hero wheel, a villain wheel, wheel. One that has a combination of steeds, vehicles, accessories for us to use. And then, of course, we will have a location. So I guess we should just start with a location first. All of this, of course, we're at the mercy of these wheels. So everything that we're going to come up with is just off the top of the head.
We spin the wheel, make the deal.
And of course, I got to figure out, because if I'm going to do this tab, actually, we might just go down the list because I can't see from here what exactly is what. So this will be our first wheel that we have. And let me go ahead and get our logo off of here. Oh, actually, there we go. This is the location one. So let's zoom in on that a little bit. Tyler, can you kind of see what we can?
Do you want to read them off for people if they can't see it? Or
yeah, go ahead and read it.
All right, so we've got Tralla, the Tar Swamp, Point Dread, Dark Smoke, the Crystal Sea, the Sea of Rakash, the Ice Mountains, the Sands of Time, the Widget Woods, Dragon Mountain, Phantos, Stone City, Mystic Mountains, Volcano Cave, Mount Croner, the Banshee Jungle, Caverns of Grayskull.
So there you go. Way more locations than we had the last time, actually.
Yeah.
Way shorter list.
Yeah, Nathan asked me to add a few more things, so we have a shit ton more of things to choose from on every one of these wheels.
So let's see where the story is going to take place. Oh, the Widget Woods.
I love it already. Fantastic. All right. The widgets need some love anyway, damn it.
All right. So we got the Widget Woods. So, Tyler, what can you tell us exactly about the Widget Woods? Anything we need to know kind of going into our story building here?
I mean, I don't believe there's anything that exists out in the woods outside of the Widget's fortress. That's where they live. That's where they mine cordite and various other things. And they are, big allies of He-Man. He-Man keeps a watchful eye on them. They have if you're not aware, they have a signal that they launch into the air, much like the bat signal, to draw He-Man's attention, to get He-Man and Battle Cat, to come to the rescue for, if it's Skeletor, Man-E-Faces, Beastman, whoever the case may be attacking their fortress. But they are, they're a Filmation creation, but I think that they are a much needed addition to the mythology. Is like a permanent staple in my mind. So I think this is wonderful that we'll get to use the widgets, because we can use any of them, because that's where the story has to take place, or at least involving Widget Woods, where they live. So,
well, now that we know where the story is taking place, Tyler, if you want to read off our list that we have here of our vehicles and such.
We have the Gyro Attacker, the Stilt Stalkers, the Scuba Attack Gear, the Cliff Climber, Laser Bolt, Panther, Mega Laser, the Dragon Walker, the Collector, Jet Sled, Bashosaurus, Battle Bones, the Doom Buster, Sky Sled, Blaster Hawk, Spydor, Night Stalker, Stridor, and finally the Coal Miner's Glove.
For those of you, I think we mentioned this last time. Coal Miner's Glove. I think even if we land on it, we won't use it.
It's just a gag to throw in to amuse ourselves and anyone else who's a wrestling fan.
Yeah. So that was Halloween Havoc 92,
or is it 92?
91 or 92 when it's Sting and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. It probably was 92. Yeah.
And they were gonna, it'd spin the wheel, and they had all these cool match types on there, and it landed on Coal Miner's Glove match, and it just what a sucky match to
we can thank
all
Dusty
the
Rhodes
things
for that.
Yeah.
I never understood why the logic in that. Because I don't think that was the only time it was used. Wasn't it used in other matches too? The Coal Miner's Glove.
I don't think it was. I don't think there's ever that I can recall. I don't think there's been another Coal Miner's Glove match off the top of my head. That's something I'll look up later towards the end of the show and see if we can find another instance of that being used. But let's see what has to be included. This one I see more of it. Depending on what it is, will be heavily involved in the story, kind of like it was last time, or it'll just sort of be mentioned or just sitting in the background or something. So
yeah, we have to find a way to work it in somehow.
Yeah. So let's see what we are going to land on for this.
This is always a fascinating part here. The Mega Laser.
Maybe. Oh, yep.
Yep. Mega Laser it is. All right. Another unsung accessory / weapon that just never gets used and is always dismissed.
Probably show an image of the Mega Laser. I can find. Yeah, here we go. Won't let me save it like that. What can you tell us about the Mega Laser, guys? See the packaging and stuff.
Yeah, it was the part of the '86 wave of one of three accessories, along with the Jet Sled and the Stilt Stalkers, and it was used in the Fastest Draw in the Universe, which is a pretty lousy mini comic, but it's featured prominently on the cover, and it's He-Man's weaponized accessory. It's essentially it's like a shoulder cannon, like an automatic, weapon that rests on your shoulders like an eyepiece to help. It's like a targeting system set up. I mean, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a pretty, I think it's. I mean, I have mine on display somewhere up there, and it looks cool. It's just simple. It's like with like G.I. Joe, it was like a small price accessory that you go, because not everyone could afford vehicles. So they have like this kind of like a deluxe weapon to go with your whoever. I mean, He-Man could use it, Man-at-Arms or Fisto or Buzz-Off.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody could use it. But
it's
just a fun little accessory, and I just always thought there was something kind of interesting about those. And I think a lot of people just feel like they're very forgettable and don't feel like they warrant any interest. And I beg to differ. But
so we're gonna have some widgets involved. We're gonna have a Mega Laser, and here is our heroes, and we're actually gonna choose 2 of these and 2 villains to go along. So Tyler, who we got listed here for the heroes?
All right, we've got Rio Blast, Clamp Champ, Buzz-Off, Mechanic, Cyclone, Prince Dacon, Stratos, Rock-On, Stondar, Granada, Gwildor, Mothman, Bo, Cowl, Frosta, Natasa, Lizard Man, Malik the Wizard, Extendar, Snout Spout, Rio Blast. Actually, I'm starting all over again.
So there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Good list of about 20. We are going to choose 2. Here's our first character.
Who will make up our first heroic tag team here?
Oh, Rock-On.
Rock-On. Kick ass. Man, we're going with the obscure stuff. I'm loving this, man.
I will remove Rock-On from the wheel.
Okay.
Spin again and see who Rock-On's going to be teaming with. Mechanic.
And Mechanic. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
All right. So Rock-On, Mechanic. We got the Widget Woods and a Mega
Laser. I mean, this is already like, wow. It's like, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah, it's. I'm glad that you are here for this, and now I'm sitting here. I'm like, I kind of wish James was here right now. He could probably really help out a lot with this story. But now we get to choose 2 villains. So Tyler, who we got?
All right,
on this one,
we've got Too Bad, Blade, Karg, Sarad, Batros, Fangman, Count Marzo, Evil Sea, Jitsu, Faker, Blast Attack, Squeeze, Merman, Stinkor, Evelyn, Beastman, Negator, Azrog, Spydra, Webstore, Clawful, Cobra Khan, Ninjor, Scareglow, and Too Bad.
All right. Spin the wheel.
Making the deal here.
All right. We're gonna.
Man, another lesser used character. Man, this is the kind of stuff I live for with Master of the Universe.
Sarad, man, but yeah, some odd combos. And who are they going to be teaming up with? Oh, okay.
Oh boy, this is like Star Comics Alliance here. My favorite Snake Man. Wow.
All right.
Shit.
So that is what we got to work with on this, Tyler. As you start to think, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes. We'll kind of venture in here to some of the like questions, comments. I'll read a couple things. We'll kind of talk about that as you're starting to think. And yeah, I'm gonna rely a little heavily on you for this.
Well, I mean, who else would you rely on here? So,
yeah, that's true.
If I bomb at this, you know what? I apologize to the listeners, but hopefully I can deliver something that's interesting.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember because where you weren't here last week, I don't think that there was. I don't know if I read this one. This comes from our Wave 4 Vintage Cardbacks tier list episode from Cascades 9130. Truly love this tier episode and the trip back down memory lane. I remember the memories of these figures, where I got them, when I got them, and who I got them gifted by. Beautiful time to remember. So
that's awesome to hear. I can relate to that wholeheartedly.
Going to our character spotlight on Jitsu. Ducko 5404, the most amazing and frustrating thing about Master Universe might be the amount of unexplored characters, creatures, locations, lore, well, everything really. It keeps up this mystique and never-ending fascination towards this property, but at the same time, it's one of those things that keeps it niche. That might be for the best in the end. Look what happened to Star Wars. So yeah, when we were talking about Jitsu a couple weeks back, we talked about how there's so much about his character that you could really dig into. But at the same time, it's like, well, how far would you want to go with that before it turns into something that's oversaturated, opens up Pandora's box, so to speak? So, yeah, as fun as it is for us to do that, especially what we're going to be doing here momentarily with this story, at the same time, maybe it is best that it's this way and that it's so niche and not on that level of like a Star Wars or Marvel currently and other properties that we talk about. Well, you know, the Ninja Turtles, they keep doing this and this and this, right? So at the same time, maybe Master Universe is better being still in.
I agree, and
shrouded.
I understand. Like, there's always a lot of fun things to maybe explore, like pick and choose, like a couple of small things that may have appeared in an episode or in a comic book or just an idea from a movie or something like that you could maybe explore. But history just continues to show, man, people try this and it never works out. It never feels like, you know what, I'm so glad they made that movie, or I'm so glad they made that comic, or I'm so glad they explained that in that episode. It's like people just don't seem to understand the mystique of like why some of the stuff. And I think about like, not to go too far off here, but like I think we discussed this like a good long time ago when we did like an American Werewolf from London discussion about like trying to explore the small village and their secret of like why they are aware of the werewolf. They all hide at the pub on the full moon, but they don't want anyone to know about it, and they don't do anything about it. Like, what is the secret that this village continues to subject themselves to every generation of like, okay, there's always a werewolf, someone's bit by it, we have to stay here. Like, do they know who it is? If they do, why don't they do something about it?
Right.
That kind of, it's fun to think about, but if you really start breaking it, probably turn into a real shitty movie.
Yeah.
Or a shitty comic book or something that's just like, oh my God, like, this is bad. Well, because mainly because people, they get too crazy with it and they're not really creative with something that's not really part of the story. It's just there in the background, much like an Alien or Predator or The Thing. It's there. It's not explored, but it's fun to think about. And I feel like you could have a lot of success if you had the right person doing it. Unfortunately, they've never been able to get anyone outside of Larry DiTillio and a couple of other people to do good expansions of these characters, but not oversaturated, like over exploring them too much. So we're like, well, they're really good people. They're just flawed. No, fuck you. We don't need flawed people. We want good and evil, good guys and assholes. Like, yeah. And there's no apologies for it. This is who they are, and that's how I always want to see He-Man. I don't want to see Skeletor was really a blue-skinned man named Keldor who's a Gar, and people. He's blue skin. Well, we don't like blue skin. He can't be the king. Oh, well, come on, Panther. Well, let's just mosey on out of here because this is what Scott Nollick wants for my character. Like, no, it's just stupid. Stupid, lame, unoriginal, uninspired, and people just never seem to learn the lesson because it's always about my turn to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to take over the business, and I'm going to reinvent the mythology, and He-Man's going to go to Earth, and he's going to get some adolescent hijinks and be wearing pink button-down shirts with a shitty wig, and it'll be great. And Jared Leto will be chasing him down with all these other shitty cameos. I can't wait.
One more comment here, and I'll save the rest for later. Brian Clifton, great to see James. As always, I remember getting Jitsu and Fistu on my birthday one year. Growing up, I had most of the Masters figures. The figure that I never got was Cyclone. So,
I envy you because I didn't get Jitsu, but I did get Cyclone and Fisto as a kid. So.
Well, Tyler, during all of that, were you starting to kind of put any of this together?
A little bit, and part of me almost feels like not necessarily feel like you have to involve some of the major core characters. Like, I think I've always had an idea, like, you know, in my wish fulfillment of like running an array of Master of the Universe comic books. It's like you have your core book, and you have maybe two spin-off books, and like one of them would be like, you know, a tag team. Like you have an issue focused on Buzz Off and Mechanic tag team and doing their own thing. They're not relying on, you know, the use of He-Man and Battlecat to come and aid them. It's like they're doing their own thing, or Fisto and Mossman, or Cyclone and Roboto, or Rockon and Stondar. Like every comic book would be like a new couple of guys taking on a task of their own, because the planet's so vast. You have villains all over the planet. Like, what, it shouldn't always have to be. I mean, because obviously these guys are being dispersed to take care of various things, and He-Man's obviously called in for the things that are bigger than anyone else. So I like to think that not NYP inspired, like, you know, the Masters will see to this. Like, no, it's stupid. I'm just talking about like you have this wide array of heroes. They're not just gonna be hanging around the royal palace waiting for something to do, waiting for He-Man like, to go in action. Okay, now we got something to do.
Well, it's like the Marvel 2-in-1 books, but it changes. It's not the Thing and someone every time. It's just two different characters each.
Just
each
like
issue.
that, or Marvel team up where Spider-Man's team up with someone else, or it's the Human Torch and Iceman.
Right.
I think it'd be a great idea, you know, for a Master of the Universe comic book that doesn't rely on He-Man and Battlecat and Castle Grayskull being attacked. It could be, Extendar and Clamp Champ are rescuing a small fishing village from, you know, Negators trying to invade, and we don't, you know, I just feel like there's so much more to it. So I'm kind of thinking, like, you know what, it wouldn't necessarily have to get He-Man involved. Like, maybe there's a chance that, like, they think they may have to do that. But the Widgets are known for mining, you know, all kinds of, you know, diamonds, and of course cordite is a rare mineral that they do. They don't have a whole lot of it, but it's something that they do have access to. And Skeletor is in the most, or in a very famous episode, Evelyn's plot is like, you know, that's what he wants. So I kind of feel like trying to have something that the Widgets would have, you know, that would, and then I almost feel like too, don't really want to make Squeeze and Soul Rod tag team partners. I'd like to think that this is something that Squeeze is dispatched separately by King Hiss. Skeletor gets wind of it and sends his most silent assassin, Soul Rod. Doesn't talk. In my version, he doesn't talk. Doesn't spit sparks either. He's just a very nasty assassin. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe like sparks like can trigger if he's like, you know, trying to torture someone, which I did do that in one other story.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, is that this is going to be an attack on the Widgets Fortress by Squeeze, and to perhaps, okay, I'm thinking like Skeletor and King Hiss are over the hover screen. They're at Snake Mountain, and they're observing a variety of things, and they observe the Widgets Fortress, and they see that Squinch and a couple of the others have actually found a massive chunk of cordite, not just a small portion. They have managed to dig deep enough to where they found a substantial foundation of cordite. It hasn't been removed yet, but it's there. And like they realize, okay, we know like this is a very powerful substance. People have been after us for this. We can't let anyone know about this. We probably need to notify, you know, He-Man or someone that, you know, that's an ally of his, to like, look, we have this very powerful. We need a safeguard. We need a place for us to either remove it so we can go to where it's not going to cause any trouble, or we need someone here to help us, you know, keep an eye or help us out, you know, to finish mining it so we can get it out and dispatch it to a place where, you know what, it's not going to give us any problems, and it can go to where it can be best served, or best use. It can be used to the greater good on Eternia.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I see Skeletor and King Hiss are observing this, and King Hiss is fast. He's like, because I'm aware of this mineral. Like, this is so rare. When I was you know, running loose on my first run on Eternia, taking on Hero, and in his mind, he feels like, if I had that substance, I could have overtaken Hero easily. But I was denied it. I couldn't get a hold of that substance. Like, it's just one of those things I would just absolutely die to have. I know what I could do with it. And Skeletor, being the person who's like, I'm not going to help you out willingly. He's like, you don't understand. I've actually been after this. I've actually obtained it, and I still got my ass kicked by He-Man. You're wasting your time with this, because he obviously doesn't want King Hiss to, like, take something that clearly worked for him.
Right.
Trying to dissuade him from, like, look, you go after that, He-Man's going to stop you. He'll kick your ass. It's a waste of time.
In the typical Skeletor fashion, he's presenting that, but also having the underlying thoughts of, like, the selfishness or the sabotage of, this is for me and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, this is what these two, even though, like, you see them depicted in the mini comics, they are allies with the. They will turn on each other at some point. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That one is using the other to get to their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just see them bickering, and it's like, you know what, Skeletor, if you couldn't make it work, who's to say I couldn't either. So, you know what, I'll take your word. We're allies. And he, dismisses himself. And Skeletor's like, that was too easy. He's got something planned.
Mm-hmm.
So then King Hiss goes and meets Squeeze in secret, and he's like, look, I need you to invade the Widget Fortress. You're one of the most aggressive of my snake men. I need you to find a way in there without alerting He-Man, because he's aware of, like, the witches have a a system for contacting him. It's like, I could almost feel like King Hiss is not even aware. Like, he's not even aware that what they use to contact, but just know that they're under He-Man's protection. He's like, I need you to go in and be as sneaky as you can without them giving them the opportunity to alert He-Man, because I don't know how they do it. Because in his mind, he's like, I'm not going to ask Skeletor how they alert He-Man. Because that tells Skeletor, like, I'm going to be doing something that he clearly is trying to talk me out of doing. So just find a way to sneak into the Widget Fortress without being detected, and do as you wish with the widgets, but bring me back that Cordite.
Yeah.
So then that's when I see Skeletor's like, look, he goes to Saurod in private and tells him, like, King Hiss is up to something. He's after this massive find of Cordite that the witches have uncovered. I need you to go and follow Squeeze and see that he does not obtain it. Do what you have to do to him, destroy him, sabotage his mission, whatever you got to do, just ensure he does not come back with that Cordite.
Would you put in there any bit of the dialogue, because you had mentioned before about him being sort of this silent mercenary, silent assassin, I think is how you worded it. Would you kind of want to put that in any bit of the dialogue? Have Skeletor rubbing his shoulders, is like, you're my number one.
Yeah, number one. I would still have Sora is just a man of, like, gestures, like he nods, he bows, and just it pretty much, like, pledges outside of what you see in the movie. Like, I wanted to depict him as, like, a very loyal henchman, because he does what he does and succeeds.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy who doesn't talk, so he's not a braggart. He's not doing anything to be boastful. He goes and he's focused on that mission. He's just this. I just see him as someone who probably has had a lot of success, like having joined Skeletor's ranks, and Skeletor, would see him as, like, I'm not going to disperse Beastman or Merman for this. I need someone who's stealth, who's quiet, can get the job done from a distance, and is really good at sneak attacks, which would be, Webstor and Cobra Khan as well. But you know what? We have Saurod here. And, I think, too, that the use of the sparks as a nice bit of a torture device, because I use that in one of the other stories where he attacks He-Man from behind and then starts emitting sparks to blind He-Man.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be some use to the sparks, that it would be damaging to someone. I mean, you get sparks in your eyes, like, it's going to fuck up your vision and everything.
Yeah.
And
with it being, it will burn, being bright, all those things.
Absolutely. So being dispatched by himself to Widget Woods. And then now trying to figure out how to work in Mekaneck and Rock-On is, I think about this, is that Mekaneck is a reconnaissance man. Like, he is great from keeping it long distances and just doing recon with his enhanced vision, can zoom into unbelievable clarity. So I almost feel like him and Rockon would be on patrol in various places. Rockon can, much like Stone Darn Granada, can fall into rock form and just maintain a very steady presence. And you don't know unless you recognize the texture,
right?
Of them. You just assume it's just some kind of random exotic rock. So I'd like to think that they're on patrol together. Rockon is just pretty much staying immobile and just kind of waiting, just in resting form, just kind of biding his time, seeing if anything happens. And I think with this, I would pretty much set up that one of these guys happens to notice, because I'm trying to think how Squeeze would travel, because the Snake Men didn't have any vehicles. So I'm imagining that Squeeze is not going to walk all the way from the dark hemisphere to the light hemisphere,
right,
to Widget Woods. He's going to have to probably steal one of Skeletor's vehicles, more than likely probably a war sled,
mm-hmm.
And go airborne and then park it a fair amount of ways from the fortress. That way he's not drawing too much attention. And then Saurod is probably following, in another. I almost feel like another vehicle bigger than that would probably draw too much attention. So I kind of feel like, we would need to. I don't know, kind of redundant. I mean, what do you think? I just like too many, because it's always. That's always been the use. If they're not using, the Doombuster or the Collector, which is more of a more larger transport vehicle. Right. Sky Sled. The war sleds they're meant for one person for an air assault or kind of a sneak attack.
Well, think about this too, right? The whole premise of this is we're putting it in mini comic form. That could be something story wise. I don't really think you would have to implement in there.
Well, I look at this then. You're right. So I would. All right, then I'm going to have Squeeze steal a war sled and park it, and we're just not going to take time to bother how Saurod he just followed him. We don't know what he used, and honestly, it's irrelevant to the story.
Having that just sort of like just random, like sitting there, so you can just use your imagination to imply, oh, maybe they use this and this to kind of get there, sort of thing. I don't think it's something that really has to be super explored.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting too. We're putting this in mini comic form, so
yeah. So and we got the mega laser that we got to work.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about that as well. So I haven't forgot about that.
Yeah, we have to look at it, visualize it as a 14 to 16 page mini comic.
Yeah. Sorry. So to recap here, our opening is going to be, the widgets. Squinch runs out to let Kandu, like, oh my, Kandu, look, we found like this massive collection of cordite.
Yeah.
And so Kandu and Laura and all the others that aren't name checked, unfortunately, they go running in there. Like, oh boy, like this is amazing. Like this is going to bring so much, attention, but also a lot of threats to us. Like we have to find a way to get this out of here and without alerting too many people outside of He-Man and the Royal Palace. Like otherwise, we're going to be under siege.
Yeah.
And then you cut away to a panel of Hiss and Skeletor looking at it.
Yeah.
And bickering over, don't bother with it. And like, no, all right, you know what, you're right. And then seeing King Hiss walk to another place in Snake Mountain privately, and tells Squeeze what he needs him to do. And then Skeletor, obviously being the very mistrustful, you see another panel of him finding a Saurod somewhere in the midst of Snake Mountain. It could be anywhere. It could be in the dining hall of Snake Mountain, where a lot of the Eeyores probably would just gather and have their meals. It could be he's target practice, or he could be, having just come back from a successful mission and telling us, we're going to go, here's your prize, without saying anything. So I was like, great, I have another mission for you right now. I need you to follow Squeeze to Widget Woods. He's after cordite. I don't care what you have to do. You need to stop him. If you need to destroy the widgets, that's fine. Whatever you do, do not allow Squeeze to come back with that cordite.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about that, like, how is that going to bode well if Squeeze is his mission has been disrupted by one of Skeletor's guys. We're talking about a civil war that's probably going to break out, at Snake Mountain. So this has got to be done with the utmost stealth. And I think it's something Skeletor needs to emphasize too, is like, I'm not looking to have a massive war here at Snake Mountain, but I do not want him taking something that I clearly have more use of than he does. Right. And I know what happened the last time I took it, so I'd rather see it go to waste than to see him take it. So whatever you do, don't allow yourself to be detected by Squeeze. Just find a way to stop him from taking the cordite. So then so then we've got then Dispatch, and then
now we have to kind of figure out how Rock-On and Mekaneck get there. Is it going to be more of a thing of the widgets do alert He-Man then is the one that's saying, hey, because then it's sort of samesies where we're having two of the same thing or three of the same thing when you think about it. We have like main leader characters telling these other characters, hey, I need you to go here. So
I don't mind that so much because, as I've done before, like in the Jutsu store, like He-Man, there may be times where he can't show up immediately.
Yeah.
Because you've got other threats. For all we know, the Horde are up to some hijinks, and he's got to go stop that. Like he can't run to the aid of the widgets immediately or something like that. So finding a way to, and I just think it'd be more interesting to, like, He-Man's presence is around. We're just not going to use him in this, just for the sake of like being different here.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, do you want to go the route of He-Man, much like how Skeletor and Hiss did? It's like, oh, these two characters, hey, I need you to go here. Or do you want to find another workaround for them?
I think what I might do then is give a false sense of hope for the widgets. Is that I think what we need is that we're going to establish that Rock-On and Mekaneck are on patrol not too far from Widget Woods. Rock-On is in his sleeping state, just pretty much waiting to ambush anybody who's up to no good. Mekaneck is high up on a mountain peak, just kind of keeping a watchful eye in that area, and then he'll move on to the next one. So then I feel like what we need is Squeeze he finds a way into the Widget's fortress. Obviously, a big menacing Snake Man is going to get detected at some point. So I feel like he finds his way in, and I'm thinking, like, should we put this at night? Because nighttime is cool, and then you have a Snake Man and a stealthy assassin. Kind of works better at night.
Yeah, let's go with nighttime.
We'll go with nighttime here. So, but it would start during the daytime, and then we the time would pass over to night. So when the witch is kind of a little bit more nervous right now because
and a good chunk of them are probably sleeping and everything.
Yeah.
Too,
so Squinch is on patrol, trying to be tough, but also like, we have cordite here. Is anyone going to try and break in and get this? And that's when we're going to have it Squeeze, slither up the fortress and, frightens Squinch, grabs a hold of him and just scares him to death, and then pretty much puts him unconscious.
Kills him.
Well, we're not going to kill him, but like, we have a very nasty Snake Man. I think he needs to be depicted a little bit more formidable.
Right.
Because unfortunately, like he didn't get to do a whole lot in the mini comics, and he wraps himself around Extendar, and that's kind of about the extent of what he does.
Yeah.
So this one, I'm going to have him just frighten the widgets, like take them out along, and then just a few, because Squinch and a couple of others are on patrol. There's not a whole lot. Everyone else is sleeping, and he's lurking around trying to find the entrance to the mine. All the while, Saurod is perched up in the trees, and just watching and observing. So then I feel like we need to have someone like Kandu wakes up, sees Squinch is knocked out, and just panics like, oh my God, we need help. Like he runs up thinking Squinch just fell asleep on the job. It's like, no, he's out cold. It's like
that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Just depicting the usual, you faltered on your job, but it turns out that
he's out cold, and he starts to panic, and he runs and hits the signal, and which alerts Mekaneck and Rock-On, who are a good distance away. Like
it's a good thing too that has already been established in the mythology that they have a signal that they can use. So it's a very good
it is and
storytelling device.
It's something that I think some people feel like, you know, a signal. It's like, dude, it comes out of a cannon and it emits the image of the cross on He-Man's harness. So I think it's a great idea, and it's not used all the time. Like, they're the only people who have this. It's not like the sorceress does this or the royal palace does this. This is strictly meant for the witches because they are small people, and you know they can only do so much in terms of defending themselves.
Right.
When you have people, you know, like evil warriors and horsemen and snake men, like they need help.
Yeah.
So that's when the signal goes up, hoping He-Man's going to follow, and Mechanic up on a mountain peak is you know, conversing with Rockon, like, I think we're better to wrap this up tonight. And all of a sudden, this big explosion in the sky is like, it's like, Rockon, did you see that? It's like, that's He-Man's signal. That's coming from the Widget's fortress. It's like, well, we're in the vicinity right now. It's like, you know, we can alert He-Man, but I think we need to investigate this right now.
You could even probably throw in a little bit of dialogue. It's like, oh, we all know that He-Man's off doing like a little blurb to really establish that He-Man's he's not gonna be here.
I think that's what we need to do then. Is that so? We're gonna put them in the attack track. So, which will house the Mega Laser in the back.
There you go.
Yeah. Just as a precaution, it's just a weapon in case you need it. It's there. It's not like, you know, we're not going to like, boy, it sure was right that Man at Arms came with that Mega Laser, you know, and just happened to put.
Oh, what's this beside the Mega Laser? Oh, it's the shit stain remover.
Shit stain remover. Like, we don't need that shit. You know, but that would be their means of transport. Like, you know, I know Rockon can turn a comet form and take off, but you know what? Working together like this, I kind of feel like they're going to ride in the attack track together. So, like, all right, like. We saw. I think we better investigate. Let's alert the Royal Palace because we need to let He-Man know about this because they need him right now. So we'll set that up. That they reach out. Man at Arms responds and tells like He-Man's, you know, as of right now is wrapped up in a bit of a siege at the city of Drisdos with the Horde.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, you know, I'll alert him like he needs to get there as soon as he can. If you guys can at least go and see what they need. And see if you can't hold her down until we get He-Man there.
And then you could maybe throw in some dialogue. It's like, hey, if things get too messy, I in the back, you can always test out the Mega Laser. It's just something where dialogue-wise that works that in, and that's in the back of your mind. Oh, this may be implemented later in the story.
Yeah, I think we need to look at that. And
because Man at Arms is always, since he's always working on these kinds of things, you could easily work that in there. Just, hey, if you have to, use my newest creation. It's in the back.
Yeah, because I don't think it's ever given, because I don't remember if in the Fastest Draw in the universe it was given like a flat out like full on introduction. Here, Adam, He-Man, take this with you.
Yeah,
I think it's just there. This, I think, would be good to, you know, Mano just reminds me, look, I don't know if y'all have had too much practice with the Mega Laser, but I've installed one inside the attack track for emergencies. So if you guys need any extra backup, you know, I would highly recommend using it. Hopefully you won't need to use it.
Yeah.
But if you need to, it's ready to go in the back. And you know, Mega's like, I'm aware of that, and I've only tried it once, and that's it. And Rockon has not done it because he carries his own pistol.
Right.
So
yeah, I think definitely have Mechanic probably use it. In the
I figured Mechanic based on his size, because Rockon's a bit bulkier. I think it would just, from a visual standpoint, it would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
With Mechanic already with his enhanced, goggle vision. You know,
not to get too intricate here, but you said Rockon would be riding in the attack track, and I'm gonna kind of go there specifics. Weight wise, would Rockon be too heavy to ride in an attack track?
I don't think so, because the attack track is like an all-terrain vehicle. Like it's supposed to be able to go over anything and everything pretty much. I feel like he would not be that massive to where he may not be able to sit up front. He'd probably have to sit in the back.
Put him in the back with the Mega Laser.
Yeah, and let Mechanic do the driving, and they park a little ways away because, you know, without alerting, I almost feel like the idea of like them getting out and running or walking because they don't want to run into a trap or something like that. So that's when I feel like they need to be silent about this, but be swift. So I feel like they would park a little ways from it, and they're going through the dark. Mechanek's using his enhanced vision. And he's just, you know, like they're a little ways away from the fortress, and they're looking around and like, I don't see anyone on patrol. You know, I don't see Squinch or anyone else on guard. Like, all right, someone hit the signal. And then I'm kind of thinking like, we need to go into some action here. I feel like Saurod is watching these guys from above because he hasn't attacked yet, because he's observing Squeeze going in and wait, you know, and I almost feel like maybe waiting for the right time to leap down into the fortress to stop him. But then he's distracted by the fact that Mechaneck and Rock-On, you know, are kind of starting making a gradual presence as they're slowly approaching the fortress here. So then I feel like, okay, he opens fire on Rock-On and Mechaneck, but hidden up in the mountain, up in the treetops. So they're trying to avoid the fire, and then Mechaneck is using his vision, trying to figure out, all right, where the hell's that coming from? And Saurod is just leaping around, trying to avoid detection here.
Well, not only that, but that could also be a way that you could implement the sparks from his mouth emitting like a bright light to the Mechaneck. It's blinding enough to where he can also continue to.
I think that's how we would kind of dispatch, or at least put them in a little bit of turmoil, is that we'd have Saurod sneak attack Mechaneck from behind, you know, and then emit the sparks from his face and kind of, you know, put him out of action for a little bit, which is going to send Rock-On like chasing after him. Squeeze becomes like, all right, what the hell's going on out there? And becomes like, all right, this is not good. Like, I was supposed to have been the only one here. There's something else going on outside the fortress. And he's like kind of hesitant, like, should I go out and see what this is, or just go along and just try and just take as much of this cord as I can? And, you know, Rock-On is trying to blast at Saurod. He can't catch him, and Rock-On doesn't want to go into full comet mode, just fly all over the forest and just destroying trees and just kind of lose control here. So I feel like with him being a bit younger, he's going to be a little bit more brash about it, and, you know, and just tells me, all right, you stay put. I'm going to go after him, and, you know, maybe act a little volatile about it, you know, like he's more determined about, I'm going to get this guy, as opposed to, I need to make sure the witches are safe.
Yeah,
just kind of playing at that young aspect of the character where he's a little bit more eager to fight, and you know, he's excited to, like, all right, we got a battle here. I don't want to make him like completely, like, you know, completely irresponsible, like, but his mentality is like he enjoys a good fight. So all right, I think I'm seeing one of Skeletor's warriors here. So it's just that constant pursuit of like cat and mouse, and Sora is just kind of, you know, leaping around the trees, and then eventually goes down into the fortress, which means Rock-On has got to find a way to get in. And, you know, then the widgets, they're all awake, they're all alert. Oh my God, what's going on here? And some of them start running to the Cordite mine, and they see Squeeze is in there taking it, and of course he starts going after them, you know, to avoid detection. And Saurod is in there, and he's, you know, blasting at Rock-On, who's trying to get into the fortress, and it's just all hell's breaking loose. You know, you got the witches are grabbing with their little spears, and they're trying to help, but they're scared. Excuse me, because you've got this cybernetic lizard man is firing and destroying their home. This anaconda-like snake man is coming after multiple of the witches and just grabbing them up and squeezing them to death. Like, oh my, what is this guy going to eat us? Or what, you know, it's just everyone. They're all just terrified. It's just constant chaos.
Let me ask you this, because most of the time Squeeze is always portrayed as just much like you did, the perfect visualization of that character and how that's always portrayed. Mm-hmm. Could you ever imagine like Squeeze just like each arm individually wrapping in themselves, as opposed to just both of them going around like this? Because I could see him with doing that a little more often too. I would like to see that visually shown.
You know what? I like that, because he clearly could do that, and I think it's just because selling the gimmick of like he could wrap himself around like three characters. But this, with the widgets, they're a lot smaller. I could see him grabbing maybe 2 or 3 with one arm, and just subduing them, you know, from screaming and panicking, but knocks them out. And you got Laura and Can-Do, and Squinch, you know, gets himself back together, and, you know, and sees all this panic and chaos going on, and It's like, where's He-Man? And you see the signal in the sky, and there's no He-Man here. And that's when I think we would have to, like, Mechanic gets himself together and realize, okay, there's a lot of chaos going in there, and Sora is too good with the pistol. I don't have a gun. So Rockon's not having much luck trying to capture him, and we don't know who else is in there. Runs back to the attack track and unloads the mega laser. And it's like, well, I hope my one time was good enough to learn how to use this thing. And, I mean, and I feel like we have like an explosive entrance for Mechanic. I feel like, you know what, because the panic's getting so bad, he can't climb the walls. He's going to blast the fuck out of the door. And we're going to have this, like, RoboCop 2, like when he shows up in the police car and it blows up and he just gets out and stomps down.
That's kind of what I was thinking about, just visualizing, like, the door blows open, there's just all this smoke in behind it, and you see this shadowy figure walk into frame kind of thing.
And Mechanic already can see who's who because of his enhanced vision anyway. So he can already see, like, okay, we're dealing with Squeeze and we're dealing with Saurod, and a lot of frightened widgets and a lot of unconscious widgets too. So that's when he's going to come in there and, I mean, just starts launching an assault at Squeeze and at Saurod, because where his targeting system, he can lock on to both of them a lot more easier. So I think during that one, their Squeeze is like completely forgotten about the card. Like, all right, I've already been detected. And what's good about this is that Saurod has not had a chance to sabotage Squeeze.
Yeah.
So the idea now, okay, like Squeeze being like, what are you doing here? And Saurod could just come and was like, I was sent as backup, as opposed to I was, really sent to stop you from doing this.
Yeah.
Since they never had a chance to actually have a confrontation, it subdues anything breaking out, at least majorly, with the two factions. So that's when I feel like the Mega Laser, he uses as best he can, but tries to avoid not being chaotic with it and being like the Ghostbusters when he used the proton packs for the first time, just start obliterating everything around. Like he's a little bit more locked on target, trying to hit Saurod, and then when Squeeze is like manhandling Candu, Laura, and Squinch, like your three main widgets, and holds them up in a very threatening manner. Mechanic tells Rockon, like, all right, put your gun down. And Squeeze is like, all right, and you're going to do the same. You're going to put the Mega Laser down too. And then Mechanic's head is up from it a bit. Like he's conversing. His head's not down eye level with the Mega Laser. He's like, all right. Just promise me you'll let them go, and I'll put the gun down. He lowers his head slowly, and immediately his eyes lock on target with like Squeeze's body. Like the Mega Laser's only going to hit where it's targeting at, and then just quickly fires a shot and just stuns the hell out of Squeeze, like just knocks him completely uncold, and drops all three of the widgets there. And then Saurod just takes off and gets the hell out of there.
Okay.
So now Squeeze is left completely unconscious. The widgets are all trying to get themselves together. They're frightened. They're scared. So they subdue Squeeze and alert the Royal Palace that, look, we just had this major onslaught here at the Witches' Fortress. They found this massive supply of cordite. We need help. We need resources. We need vehicles. We need tools to help them, mine the rest of this and get it to a place where it's not going to cause any more harm. And I think that's when we have He-Man finally show up at the end.
Yeah, it's like that last page. It's like He-Man's there, maybe a couple other characters too.
Yeah, we throw in, like a Fisto, and we throw in Stratos as more aerial assault, to kind of keep an eye in the air.
Yeah.
Just He-Man, Stratos, and Fisto. We'll keep it simple like that. But they show up, and Fisto goes in and helps the widgets, mine what they can there. And then He-Man commends Rockon and Mechanic for holding their own and doing the absolute best until help could get there, and congratulate them for doing a great job of obviously stopping an attack from the Snake Man and the Evil Warriors.
Yeah.
And that, people were hurt, but no one was severely damaged or killed or anything like that. And then I almost feel like that's where it would end, but then part of me would love to see like a capper of Saurod returning to Snake Mountain, and then King Hiss, is almost like, where's Squeeze? you know, or just kind of question like, you know, why is Squeeze catching but you weren't? You know, it almost like contemplating, like would they even talk about that? Like would King even want to admit that he went and sent one of his own guys and it failed, but Skeletor's guy was sent and he came back, or would he even be aware? Would King even be aware? Like I almost feel like he would not go into the council chamber and look at the hover screen and draw attention to himself, trying to figure out, you know. And Skeletor comes like, "What are you watching, King Hiss?" I feel like he would just need to be biding his time, waiting privately for Squeeze to return with Cordite, and then sees, you know, Saurod comes back and tells Skeletor, "Well, mission was accomplished." You know, and King Hiss is like, "Shit,
that son of a bitch."
Yeah.
No, I honestly, I think you probably, I would say keep the capper off, because you're looking at mini comic wise, the way that they always have a tendency.
It tends to end with like, hey, everything's good, we're all good, you did a great job.
Yeah.
You know, and you didn't need He-Man to save the day.
Yeah.
So,
so I would end it there, but obviously, like, your mind starts going into, well, what happens when Saurod gets back, and the fallout from that. But I mean, if you did want to put the capper on the end of that, that could also be a good way, because much like you did when you redid the Horde mini comics, that could be a way that it connects into the bigger thing that's building up to more of that split between the Snake Men and the Evil Warriors.
Yeah.
Because
more tension between the two factions.
What was it? Was it the was it an Ultimate Battleground like thing that you were doing, like a redo thing? But there was something with Hiss and Skeletor, right? That they were.
It was a sequel to it, because the end of the Ultimate Battleground is like Hiss and Skeletor, like they invade and they get stopped by He-Man, and he threatens that we're going to be back with all of our warriors and you can't stop us. And then He-Man's like, we gather up everyone you can, because look, this place is gonna draw more attention from Skeletor and King Hiss. Like, we need everybody here.
This story could kind of be like a prelude leading up to all of that kind of coming down.
It could be, you know,
planting more of those seeds, so when you get to that story, that's when it really hits that tipping point between Hiss and Skeletor or something.
I almost feel like this would probably take place maybe after that, because they succeed at least getting in Central Tower and Viper Tower, but then obviously they're stopped and they have to retreat. The plan is to bring more warriors, but in the story that I wrote, some of the other evil warriors take it upon themselves to invade and take over.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would, you know, probably have this story take place, because even though I had the King Hiss and Skeletor butting heads in that story already, like they're pissed at each other for, you know, you should have done this better, you should have done that better. You know, they're already clashing, and it's like you said too. Eventually, these two are going to split apart, and it's going to be every faction from the stuff. You throw the Horde in there too, and you got three of the biggest factions that the world has ever seen.
Yeah,
all trying to come after the Three Towers and Grayskull, and you've got only the heroic warriors are the only ones standing between all three of these factions.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one massive, you know.
But that's if we want to take this story and tag it onto a bigger overarching thing.
Embedded in there to where it's like this adds an extra layer of like.
But you don't have to.
This is like getting fed up with, like, you know what? Why am I aligning myself with this guy? Like, no matter how much we're trying to, you know, work together, my ultimate goal is to destroy him and take what he's got. It's like, this hasn't benefited me at all. Like this alliance right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted while you were saying something there.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, we don't have to go that route. With the Hiss and Skeletor, you see them.
No, I think it's a great idea, because eventually, you know, I've never thought about it. I just knew at some point they're going to break away. I feel like their alliance would last the longest, because I feel like, you know, they both have an axe to grind with the Horde. They both have an axe to grind with He-Man, and you know, they only see benefit of, like, I'm going to use your man to get what I want, and vice versa. With, you know, eventually I'm going to destroy you and take what you've got. With Skeletor ultimately coming out on top, because he's going to win, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But just in terms of how long that would last, I certainly wouldn't call it the Ultimate Battleground 2 and the Ultimate Battleground 3 and all this other bullshit. It just would be this. You know, it's coming to an apex. This story of all these guys, they're after you know, they're all after the same thing, and, you know, trying to have a an advantage, whether it's stealing the cosmic key, or if we take over the royal palace and make King Randor give up Greyskull, so we can take that, and then if we take Greyskull, we take the three towers, or we take the three towers, then we take Greyskull, and that kind of thing. So I think it's a good idea, though. That was a really long-winded response to that.
just to be like, yeah, that sounds okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I definitely feel like weaving it into the story of heading down that path where these two are just worlds are gonna collide here, and
it's like it starts off an uneasy alliance to begin with, but it starts off kind of going after smaller things, like, oh, we're gonna go here. We've heard about the Cordite. And then that falters, and then this happens, and then it gradually starts building and building and building. But thinking about this story in particular, given our location and the characters involved, what would you want to title?
I was just thinking about that very thing.
Yeah, mini comic. Or as we think about a title, how about we visualize a cover? What would the cover for
I think the cover would be, I think, a face-off. Because I would want to depict the four, Mekaneck and Rock-On, confronting Saurod and Squeeze. But to what extent, I don't know. I feel like maybe in front of the Widget's Fortress at nighttime, something like a depiction that's not really in the story, because a lot of times the visuals you see in the on the covers are not necessarily what's happening in the comic. I think of He-Man versus Geldman, Secret Liquid of Life, like they're running at each other in front of Grayskull, getting ready to clash in this awesome cover, but it doesn't happen in the mini comic. So it's a very dynamic, like maybe you got Mekaneck and Rock-On back to back in front of the Widget's Fortress, and Mekaneck is being approached by Squeeze, and then Rock-On is looking up and seeing Saurod leaping down. Some sort of visual of the back-to-back heroes, but you've got both opposing factions of evil coming in on both sides, to signify, are they teaming up, or are these guys out for themselves? Kind of leave it, open-ended.
Yeah, or I'm part of me is thinking maybe you take just Squeeze, and then you have Squinch, and then make it look like the Grizzly poster.
That's a great idea too. Yeah, absolutely. I would. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, man.
I don't know. Because I it's important too, but also going to the vintage mini comics, people have been deceived by the cover. Just comics in general, you're deceived by the cover. So
I like yours better. I like your idea better of a unsuspecting Squinch holding a pile of Cordite. And just kind of looking at it in awe, and then hovering above the wall of the Widget Fortress is Squeeze in a very threatening manner, getting ready to ambush Squinch. And it needs to look vicious, it needs to look creepy. Not something's going to make kids shit their pants or anything like that, but it needs to be depicted that Squeeze is a very menacing character, as well as he should be. I always look at him as he's just my favorite, and he needs to be depicted in the most horrific way of getting ready to attack this little man, unsuspectingly. Is he after Squinch? Is he after the Cordite? And trying to come up with the title for
it. That's probably honestly the most difficult thing of this entire process. I think last time when we did this with Tom, we came up with the name with it pretty easily, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah.
This one's a lot harder.
Yeah, I think because it is covering something that has been done before, like going after Cordite. But it's you've got, I almost feel like it needs to be something about either emphasizing, not relying on He-Man, and Rock-On and Mekaneck need to go at it on their own without the help of He-Man, or the idea that you've got both the Snake Man and the Evil Warriors at odds in this story, they're out for themselves. It's not an alliance.
Having Rock on there, and you got the Cordite, and this is gonna sound just probably kind of lame, honestly, but maybe call it a rock in a hard place.
Well, there's already a mini comic called that.
Oh yeah, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that.
Um,
I'm a moron.
no, you're not.
I see that being the thing that you see where the brain kind of goes with that. It's like, oh well, just put it ha ha ha, that play on word kind of thing. I'll probably inadvertently. Well, I say inadvertently. What's the word I'm looking for here? I'm sure someone will have something to say about the fact that I tossed out a rock in a hard place. I know that for sure.
Well, but you've already been. It's already been corrected. There's no reason for someone to leave like a snide, dumbass comment that
no,
like, it's
Tyler,
like unless they're going to be that kind of person who's like they hear, like, oh, pause. I get to bitch about something right now.
Yeah, I think.
Which, unfortunately, the people who leave comments really aren't bitching about stuff. They usually, and if they do have something to complain about, they have that right to do that. But typically, our listeners, when they leave comments, they're usually words of praise and thank us for what we've done. And
it's been pretty nice lately.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're not out to. If they are, like, that's fine.
But no, I'm just saying, like, give a little wink to the camera. I think I know of someone that would.
Yeah, I have no doubt. There's probably a couple of choice individuals like, I can't wait. They've already done it. Well, that's not fair. I want to bitch and complain.
What I don't know. I mean, would you maybe like a snake motif in there? I don't know, but it's also like, would you want it more titled something widget wise? Yeah, the title's got us stumped on this one.
Yeah, well, we still got some time. I'm not going to give up on it and just say, well, I'm going to call Jerry here.
Well, while we ponder over trying to think of a title for this,
because I don't want to just throw something together just for the sake of throwing together. Like, it needs to be.
Like, all right, how about this? Rock in a Hard Place 2. There we go. Done. We got it. I went to the Scott Neitlich School of
sequel names.
Titling things.
No.
Rock in a Hard Place 2. It's done.
Well, unless you just want to antagonize someone, just complain and bitch to you and say, how could you be doing this? How could you be hosting a podcast when there's already a mini comic name this week? And what are you doing here, man?
Hey, we also have to take into account I am not the expert here. That has been well established. I've said it plenty of times. But Rock in a Hard Place, it doesn't
stop anyone from going out of the way. Like, I have meaning now. I can get up and complain about something today.
That's true. One of the other comments I wanted to share. This is the Jitsu character spotlight. The comment on this came from Gray Skull Cannon. Hey guys, great episode. Love the original story by Tyler. Love seeing James on the episode. The Classics figure is very nice, but it's time to vote. Is the Classics figure better than the Vintage figure? I know you guys don't care for Origins, which I understand, but in the defense of Origins, I would like to ask a pointed question. The box artwork on the Origins line, in my opinion, is spectacular. What do you guys think of the artwork? Just the artwork. Thank you. Look forward to the next episode. So I know when we put it to a vote between Classics and Vintage, Tyler is Vintage all the way.
Yeah.
That never falters. But for me personally, I prefer Classics over Vintage.
Well, but Classics did a lot of stuff where they did improve upon the Vintage figure. A lot of them. And I think, Vintage is the greatest, but Classics is pretty damn definitive. It took all the great things about these characters and just made it even better. And that's why it was such a shame that Classics was canceled by the dickheads and just decided we'll do something lame and stupid. But the box art, it's done by Axel, and Axel is one of the greatest artists I've ever seen. I just feel like a lot of the work, and he doesn't like me for saying this, or probably amongst other things, but I'm gonna say it anyway, is that I feel like a lot of it it relies a lot on homages to the original box art. It's not so much a lot of original stuff, not everything, but a lot of it does rely on nods to stuff that was already done before. And Axel was phenomenal at coming up with his own ideas, like own depictions, like the way he would come up with poses for characters. It was like you didn't have to tell him. He was so good about coming up with amazing dynamic poses. And he still can do that. I just feel like whenever I've seen a lot of the box art, it's just constant homages. I think one thing that really bothered me, though, was the guy that was coloring his art. I didn't like at all. It was like he was taking away the quality of Axel's pencils and his inks. So I was not a big fan of the guy that was coloring. I think it's gotten a little bit better. from some of the more recent ones I've seen. But you know, Axel still is one of the best people to ever draw He-Man and the Master of the Universe. Period. Like, I mean, I got a whole wall over here to pick of original stuff he's done for me. I know he doesn't like me anymore. I don't think, but I'm just assuming that it's because he doesn't talk to me anymore. So I'm going to make that assumption anyway. But I still champion his work. His work is some of the best I've ever seen in my life. And he deserves to be put up there with the greats who've illustrated He-Man. I just wish a lot of times some of it was a little bit more, you know, original and not so much on constant homages to the original box art.
You know? I mean, you know, you're not really much in the loop of that sort of thing. That may not have been his call. That could have just. It
may not have been, but
it may have just been all Mattel, just being like, nope, this is what we want you to do, and all right.
And you know, it may be because, you know, the guys there are not very original at all. They haven't been original for a long time, and you know, I hate that Axel I know he's paid well. I just hate that, you know, the stuff he's been asked to do ever since Classics. You know, his artwork looked amazing in his mini comics, but he had to illustrate some of the dumbest stories I've ever heard in my life. You know, and I'd love nothing more to see him do more like original stuff. And you may be right. You know, I haven't talked to him in so long. And I have a feeling he does not like to have his work criticized no matter what it is. And, you know,
I mean, that happens. I understand that from that point of view. Like artists, oftentimes, I mean, you see it with musicians, actors, anyone that's in a craft where they're putting out something for the public to consume. It's one of those things that's you're gonna get criticized no matter what, because if you're putting it out there for the public, then it's open to the public to criticize. But yeah.
And I guess part of me just felt like I often felt like I was one of his biggest like champions. Like I would just constantly like just push the hell out of like, oh my Axel, look what he did here, look at this. And I mean, like I said, even so the mini comics he worked on with the Classics line, I hated the stories, but the artwork was fantastic. You know, it just bothered me. That's like, God, why is this waste? His talent's being wasted on these shitty stories. And you know, and like you said, it may not be his call, but he does a phenomenal job. The coloring has gotten a lot better. It's not as oversaturated as it used to be, or it's just like, my God, like you wouldn't be able to tell us his Axel's artwork at all. And that was my biggest gripe to begin with, was I couldn't stand the guy that was coloring his work. I thought it deteriorated Axel's hard work. It took a lot away the details. Like the coloring was not complimentary to his ink, because I've seen Axel's artwork colored, and it looks, you know, quite good with the right person. I think Val's. I think he colored maybe a couple things of Axel's, if I remember correctly. Val will probably correct me on that one, but
Tyler's going to be getting a few messages after this.
I don't know. I don't think people don't reach out to me about this kind of stuff. They really don't. You know, it just. I don't worry too much about it, because we don't have saying like, by the way, I don't like what you said about me, and we don't have that kind of reach, you know. So it's just being open and honest. And I still say it again, Axel Jimenez is one of the greatest artists to ever have illustrated He-Man and the Master of the Universe, by far, up there with Earl Norm, William George. You know, he's just been one of the best, and I have adored the work that he's done. And I was thrilled that he was working on Classics, like doing like some of the box art. And then when I heard he's going to be working on, you know, the main line before it really got going, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I was thrilled to death for him. And I told him that. I was bummed that I wouldn't be able to buy any more artwork from him. But you know what? This guy's dream was to work on He-Man and get paid for it. So it was wonderful to see that this guy that I just saw him on social media, like back in like 2010, like, I love what you've done. Like, how much is your artwork? And then bought my first one, and and come up with these all the ideas and stuff like that. It was a wonderful run, and I'm thankful for that. And I hope that, you know, if for some reason he ever hears about any of this, that I still treasure his work. His talent is without equal, and it's not meant to be, you know, derogatory, or, you know, because I'm sure people have had thoughts about the stuff I've come up with, like, I may have a decent track record of a good original ideas. Doesn't mean they're all great, and doesn't mean people would not say, Tyler, you know what? The last 3 were fantastic, phenomenal, genius. This last one was not that good.
But Rock and Hard Place 2 really sucked, man.
Yeah, look, I didn't come up with that idea, but I just feel like when people put the stuff out there, from artwork to customs to illustrations or whatever it is,
yeah,
there's always going to be that chance someone, and they may not be deliberately trying to be mean about it. They may just say, feel like, you know what, I've seen better. Like, you have talent, but this is not your best depiction of this character. And I've seen guys who draw really awesome stuff, but they may draw a particular character not very good.
Right.
But a really good artist, like the same thing about with Axel and Kevin Sharp, is that those guys can take a character you may think is shitty, and they'll make it look more badass than Above and Beyond.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I knew that those guys could do that kind of thing. That was one of the biggest challenges or fun things about working with them, is asking them to draw characters that people just don't know or have seen much about, and they'll make them look amazing every time they did that.
I mean, all of it, it's all subjective.
Really. It is subjective, because there's people who think the artwork in the current Origin comics probably think it's fantastic. I can't imagine how or why or who.
Right.
But I'm sure somebody thinks they're good.
And obviously, I will openly say this. There's probably plenty of people that are just like, the show you're doing now is not, I enjoyed Fans of Power way more. And you are welcome to that opinion. But it just,
me and Nathan are happy on this path. This is what makes us happy. This is what inspires us to keep going. This is the path we're on, and we're going to stay on this path. So people have their right to any opinion, and we're not here to shun or dismiss or cancel, so people don't get to see comments that, may not agree with us or that we agree with, or you may not agree with. Like, I hate this whole idea of like, you got to cancel or wipe out anyone who disagrees with you and say you can't play in my sandbox because I want an echo chamber. I only want an echo chamber all around me. There's nothing fun about putting on original content. People are always going to be up your ass in agreement. Where's the fun in that? But if they're going to be logical about it, that's one thing and disagree. But if they're just going to be blatantly like, no, you don't like what I like, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm just going to argue with, like, dude, go argue with a toilet full of shit. You get a better response out of that than me.
Just at the end of the day, it's all subjective.
And it's just like, dude,
like what you like.
And there's no harm in that, really. Like,
absolutely, if people filled the comments after this and said repeatedly, there was actually a comment from John Ballard on the thing that I did last week, right? That said, I miss Fans of Power. Come back soon, Fans of Power. Happy Sunday. So I get people's perspective of just missing. Oh man, I can't. All right, because we haven't really. I don't want to dig too deep in this, but just I get if people miss that and the way that it went and how the episodes flowed and went and the zaniness of it. Totally understand that, but it reached a point for me, creatively, that the shows were not fun to be a part of anymore. I know that's like a little too honest of a thing for me to say, but that's how I felt. So I'm like, I want to move this direction. Options were there, options weren't taken, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it.
But I think what you said was fine. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit I was miserable. I hated doing it so much. I didn't want to do podcasting anymore, period. Which is why I stayed gone for so long, outside of doing a couple things with Nathan from time to time. And that's it. And it's just, this should always be fun. And when it's not fun and you're dreading, you're being miserable, like, why am I subjecting myself to this?
Yeah.
So it had to be fun. And this is what makes it fun for me.
Yeah. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's what made it fun for me too. So that's
the focus should be He-Man, not anything else. No bullshit, unless it's at the end of the show, random chit chat. But the star of this is He-Man and She-Ra. That is it.
Yeah.
It is not, or whatever our topic is. It's not about anything else. No personal bullshit, no random shit. I'm sorry, but that's what took away the fun. And when people lose sight of, like, why are we doing this? That's why we're doing this, is because the passion for He-Man or comic books or movies or various other cartoons, like that's what excites me. Nathan gets pumped and wants to talk about it, learn about it, And that's what the purpose of this path is to focus on the subject and nothing else.
Yeah,
not who we are, not our personal lives, or nothing else.
I mean,
the
kind of
show is the content.
Yeah, you're right, and I mean, obviously, it can get a little personal at times, but the main thing is two big things. We'll go ahead and move on from this because I'm sure people are going to take the bits of this and wonder and speculate. But the base point of this is, or the biggest thing that I went through was just it was too loud. It was too much. And I wasn't the only person that felt this way. Tyler wasn't the only that there have been other people that have said to me personally, it's a little too much. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. So just kind of pulling back on that a little bit. And then as Tyler said, it just started to not, there was no substance to the topics. That's how I felt. Now, once again, people watching the show, you may have felt differently about it, but when you're doing it week to week, and it just, me personally, it's different of how I looked at stuff as opposed to the audience watching and et cetera, et cetera. All right, we'll cap it. We'll leave that part at that. Tyler, since you started recovering, I can't wait to see the feedback on this one. Since you started your recovery process from your neurovirus and you started to want to sit down and watch anything, were there any movies that you sat down and checked out?
I haven't had a whole lot of time, really, just because getting back to work and everything. I did watch some Pumpkinhead. I was in the mood to watch some of that. Not all of it, but I just wanted to kind of see some of the highlights and things like that. Outside of that, it's just been kind of just random stuff. Reading comics, getting back into reading comics, that I feel better and want to read stuff in general, from Punisher to Spider-Man to Wolverine. I've jumped all over the place. It's just kind of whatever in the mood for that night, that kind of thing. So movie-wise, it's just been kind of like just kind of random stuff, and I'm like gearing up. I like to sit down and watch, maybe Cape Fear. I haven't watched that in a while, as we're approaching October.
Yep.
And some other things as well,
starting to build up towards wanting to watch the spooky stuff. I started feeling in the mood for that last night. I'm gearing up to, all right, I'm going to start watching horror films. But
yeah,
I did start making it a point now while I'm at work, when I have downtime throughout the day, to start a movie, watch chunks of it. So I've been kind of watching a movie a day. I guess I can I'm not going to go into details or spoilers on it, but I did watch James Gunn's Superman, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it at all. I thought Crypto was probably the best part, but just having Lex there with like this team around him, and I'm like, why would Lex Luthor have this team of other humans? And there's all this stuff that, like, he's mapped out all Superman's moves, so he's sitting there calling out like A16, and like the robots will like move a certain way, so he's like fighting, which I kind of get. But as I told Tyler, James Gunn's style and screenplay, I think, works better for D-list characters. I think that's why Guardians works so well, because something like that, you can take those characters and mold it more into however you want, whereas Superman, you're kind of boxed in a little bit with how the character should be portrayed. But I just it didn't click with me. So there that was. I watched I've been big on the Criterion Channel app lately. I watched Judgment Night because I'd never watched it
since the 90s, man.
Yeah, I saw it. So they have a playlist on there that's like 90s soundtrack. So it's all these movies that had those soundtracks that seemed like everyone listened to. And Judgment Night was definitely one. We definitely, back in the day, pulled a couple of those songs and used them for backyard wrestling themes, for sure. But Judgment Night was always something I always caught on TV. I would see snippets of it on TV all the time, but I never watched it in full. And I put that on. It was pretty decent little movie. Nothing like super spectacular, but
but it's a fun little. Of course, I haven't seen it, and we used to rent it on several occasions. I just because it was Emilio Estevez and Dennis Leary is like your main stars, and that was before like Stephen Dorff. I don't know who Cuba Gooding Jr. was, and Jeremy Piven always plays a bit of a putz.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven, man, God, I think he annoys
you just know
me.
It's like, oh, this guy's dead, like from the get go.
Yeah, and he seems to be typecast. It's just he's got to be the asshole in every movie. But I mean, it seems to fit his personality. You know, Summerfest and all when he was guest host on Raw.
Yeah, I got.
But
that is a fun reference.
But yeah, I enjoyed Judgment Night for what it was. I watched Grosse Pointe Blank because I haven't watched that in like 20 years. And
is that the John Cusack movie?
Yeah, well, it's got Dan Aykroyd in it, where they're both like the hitmen. And he goes back to his hometown to attend his high school reunion, which it was the 10-year one. I was like, oh man, all right. So Cusack's character in here is like 20, 27, 28. And then it made me feel really old. But I enjoyed.
You still look like you're 27, 28.
I really enjoyed the rewatch of that because, like I said, I hadn't seen it in like 20 years. I watched Richard Linklater's Suburbia from 1996. And most Linklater movies I like because they're just those chill hangouts. It's like people are just hanging out doing stuff. Like there's a story there, but kind of not really. It's just people living their lives. And this was okay. It's definitely not his best, in my opinion. But up until the end, I was kind of vibing with it. And then, well, two more. I rewatched Donnie Darko because I'm like, I haven't seen this in 20 years either. And of course, now by this point, you got the theatrical cut and the director's cut.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to watch the director's cut because I've heard nothing but it just explains the story to you as it's treating you like you're stupid. So I'm like, I know, I remember how the story goes and everything. And I rewatched again and I liked it a lot, actually, surprisingly. Because, you know, Donnie Darko, but at this point, much like The Crow and everything, it's got like that Hot Topic
where it's oversaturated with merchandise and T-shirts all over the damn place. Yeah.
But in rewatching it, of course, the soundtrack, I love the soundtrack, even though some of the songs in it and how they're used in the film, I'm like, that doesn't make much sense. But definitely very early 2000, like the way that it's shot. It seems like a music video from around that time period. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But enjoy the rewatch of that. And then last night I checked out that Pixar film Elio because that's streaming now.
Oh yeah,
and it was fine. It's kind of weird to see Pixar in a point now where it's just they come out with movies and they're all right. Like good to decent.
They seem to be very forgettable. They don't leave an impact, and kids don't seem like they're begging their parents to go see the latest Pixar movie.
Yeah, like but before Pixar definitely had a
they had an amazing track record for. I mean, from the mid to late '90s into the 2000s, like they were hitting them out of the park every time.
Yeah, so it's still great, but not. I'm not. It's not like a Toy Story or Toy Story 2 or whatever. Now, I mean, they've come out with some really fantastic stuff. Like Coco is amazing, but yeah, it just seems like the past few ones. I'm like, yeah, that was decent for what it was. And it almost seems like now other animation studios have started to kind of surpass Pixar in a way, which is weird to think about because Pixar it was an event, like you said.
Back then too, Disney still had a better reputation as opposed to being like this junk trinket factory that just manufactures a lot of bullshit out to
owns everything too.
Yeah, it's just like they're not what they used to be. They don't care about quality. It's just putting as much mindless bullshit because they know people are gonna eat the slop up. No matter how bad the slop is, they're going to eat it and pay good money for it. It's just like people just don't know when to quit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like they don't have standards anymore. And I think it's part of the problem. People are just like, no, you guys used to put out good stuff. I couldn't wait for the latest Pixar movie, the latest 2D animated film by Disney. You guys don't do that shit anymore because you guys don't care. Yeah. It's more about your mindless, we got to see Darth Vader break dancing to MC Hammer and stupid shit like that. That's just.
Yeah, that Kinect game and the Just Dance Star Wars stuff. Like,
God, they just managed to make everything so lame.
money. That's all it is anymore.
Yeah,
it's all just money.
pretty much catering to babies. With cake on their face. And it's that's Disney's audience. They're not old enough to develop a brain, so they're just treated as just mindless consumers. Like, look at all this shit.
Kids are dumb.
Have some more cake. Kids are dumb.
Next week will be October, so we're gonna start kind of delving into horror themed related things. Master Universe topic next week, I think we're going to give you a character spotlight on Scareglow. So it'll be all things Scareglow next week. We had it a little later on, but we're waiting on a shirt to come in so Tyler can wear it when we talk about
I want to be dressed appropriate for one topic that I'm dying to discuss with Nathan at some point in the month of October. So we have horror themed stuff. It's not going to be all movie stuff, but it'll be a mixed bag of things. I don't know if people like it in the past where we do about a whole month of just horror movies, but we are going to be doing horror related stuff, from comics to movies to Master of the Universe. And, we still get to come up with our fourth topic, I don't think, but
we haven't come up with the fourth one yet. So we'll see where that lands. I know last year, it was a lot of fun when we did the Nickelodeon stuff. So maybe we'll find something like a Halloween themed episode of a TV show that we can get a hold of somehow and do that. I don't know. Still in the planning phases of that, but
we got time to figure that one out.
Yeah. So Tyler, is it anything else you want to talk about? Sorry, I'm just thinking about earlier, just like, man, it's not a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think there's really anything to be concerned about that's going to be.
And we don't have to like sit here and talk this through with everyone that's watching it. But I think at some point, I guess we were due to kind of like peel it back, and then
I kind of felt like we didn't we elaborate on that a while back though?
Maybe a little bit. Peeling back the Band-Aid a little more to.
All I can say is like we're happy doing this, and you know what? You can't put a price on that. And you ought to be happy doing something you do in your spare time. It should not be a job and a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
This is a labor of love, and it shouldn't be anything more than that. And when it's not that, you need to stop doing it.
So we landed on Rock and a Hard Place 2 for the name of that book, right? I think that's what we should go with. I think
I got a bucket of shit you can eat too. I'm not agreeing to that.
I think given my brain fart and just kind of in general how things have been named in the mythology in the past decade. I think Rock and a Hard Place 2.
Rock and a Hard Place mini-comic is not good to begin with, so it doesn't deserve a sequel anyway.
Yeah. Well, we just gave you one tonight. So be on the lookout down the road for Rock and a Hard Place Part 3.
Well, people, rest assured, I will keep noodling about a quality title, and hopefully I'll have one by next week because I'm not selling for this Billy Jack bullshit.
All right. You think about a title.
Yeah, I'll noodle it, but for those who just like, whatever, and they just go along with it. Like, hopefully you have higher standards and tastes than just going along.
You come up with a new name for it by next week, and then we'll put it to a vote to our listeners. Rock and the Hard Place 2 versus Tyler's
original
title. and we'll see which one the people choose.
People's choice. People's Choice Awards. Isn't that what Nickelodeon does with their?
No, Kids' Choice Awards.
People's Choice. What is that?
I don't think, dude. I don't think.
Do they even do that anymore?
I don't know. Do you remember the Blockbuster movie?
Oh awards? yeah. That MTV Movie Awards when they used to mean a damn thing.
Yeah, People's Choice Awards. Let's see. Apparently still going. It's usually in February because it's right before they do
the Oscars or the Golden Globes.
They're
all award terms I don't give a fuck about anyway. But
yeah, dude, I haven't watched an Academy Award show in so long.
I think the last one I watched was when No Country for Old Men was up for Best Picture.
That may have been when I watched it.
And I watched it because of that because I wanted them to just rack it up. Unfortunately, they Javier Bardem got Best Actor, and they got Best Director and Best Picture. I was like, all right, I'm good.
There Will Be Blood was that the year that was also nominated too?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I saw that new Paul Thomas Anderson movie's out now. It's got DiCaprio in it, and it's got Sean Penn in it too. And it looked okay, but I don't know. Once again, I don't know if it's something I'll go to a theater to see. Actually, that is something I want to bring up to everyone because I think everyone should go do this. Regal Cinemas. If you got a Regal Cinema nearby, each day they're going to be doing a horror movie, and the show times are. I think they have like a 6:15, and then like
some of them are like 5 in the afternoon, 5 in the evening, and that's it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It fluctuates. Every movie's different. Some have got 1 showing, 2 showings, sometimes 3 showings.
All right. So check your local theaters for this, but each day a new horror film. So on the 1st, it's going to be Funhouse. On the 2nd,
what a piece of shit.
I would have to. I would have. I think
sucked.
I watched it. I think I watched that ages ago. That's a Tobe Hooper movie, right?
Yeah, it's fucking sucks. It's stupid. It should have been awesome.
On the 2nd, Candyman. On the 3rd, Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Hell yeah.
On the 4th, Nightmare on Elm Street. On the 5th, Scream. On the 6th, The Strangers. On the 7th, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So they have these labeled weekly too. So week 1 was Slashers Unleashed. Week 2 is, let me move this down, Fangs, Fur, and Fear. So on the 8th, you get From Dusk Till Dawn. The 9th, An American Werewolf in London. The 10th, It, the 2017, so part 1. The 11th, Army of Darkness. The 12th, Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton's version. The 13th, Silver Bullet, and the 14th is Creepshow. Week 3 is Unholy Forces. So on the 15th, you get Prince of Darkness. The 16th, Final Destination. 17th, Hereditary. The 18th, The Exorcist. The 19th, The Witch Part 1. The Subversion. Didn't you watch The Witch?
I didn't know there was a part 2. I just thought it was just
it just says part. Yeah,
I did watch it. It was good. It's a very slow movie, and I was hoping to have more of the creepy ass witch in the movie, but it was good.
The 20th, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
Yeah.
And the 21st, Event Horizon, and then week 4, The Monster Mash. So this is all Universal monsters. So the 22nd, get Invisible Man. 23rd, The Wolf Man. 24th, Dracula. 25th, Frankenstein. 26th, Creature from the Black Lagoon. 27th, The Mummy, and the 28th, Bride from Frankenstein. And then they end it with The Damned and the Doomed. So you get The Ring on the 29th, Rosemary's Baby on the 30th. And then I love this.
Me too.
Halloween night, you get Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Which I'm feeling pretty determined I'm going to go see that Halloween night.
That'd be awesome. Unless I call in, I will be at work. So
yeah.
We'll see. I actually last month asked for that day off
for Halloween.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, the book's full," and I'm like, "Man," because it's all those people that have kids. They're like, "Well, I got to take time off so I can take them to the trunk or treat," and I'm like, "Man, fuck you."
I got to take them to the trunk or treat.
Yeah. Which that it's a good alternative for kids to go trick or treat, but I miss the days that kids would just go
to neighborhoods you're familiar with, go to houses you're familiar with, and get the candy.
Yeah, and kids don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
At least not in our area.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's nice to see Halloween as a whole now kind of come back. I think people get excited about that season because it seemed like for a while people were just like, Halloween, where's Christmas at? But I went into.
Well, I'm sure come this week, all the Halloween shit will be marked down, and all the Christmas shit will be out.
Oh, dude, the Christmas shit's already out, like mostly in full force. And it sucks. But I went into Spirit Halloween yesterday, and it's just like it's the same shit. They've been running off of these same things now for probably the past 4 years, and it was awesome, like the first couple, because the novelty of it. But yeah. I'm like. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I'm kind of tired now of walking to Spirit Halloween and just seeing Killer Clowns stuff. And I'm like, have people even watched this movie? I don't know. That's just how I've always been. But
I get it, man. I do.
Such a bummer. Let's think about it, because reading off that list, of the Regal list, there's a chance still I may have that down week. So I might have some time available that second week of October. So I'm like, maybe I'll go see some of those movies. So
I was just say Creature of the Black Lagoon's playing on a Sunday, man. We ought to try and go see that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a definite. I was just thinking of some of those weekday ones that were coming up. Like, I would like to see that. I would like to see that.
Because some of them I looked at them like, God, like Friday the 13th Part 3 plays like at 5:20 to next Friday afternoon. Like, I gotta hope that work finishes up early and all this stuff just to try and time that just right. And there's so many, and then like Silver Bullet plays like on a Monday afternoon. Like, it's Monday. Like, it's my hardest work day of the week trying to make that work.
You're just gonna have to get Neurovirus and call in again.
Oh fuck! Demon Knight plays on a Monday too. I'm like, why don't you guys play Scream on a Monday at 2 in the afternoon?
Yeah, there's actually we'll talk about this a little more off air. There's a drive-in theater about an hour away, and they had one of their schedules, and they're actually going to play Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street as a double feature.
Oh man. That's amazing.
Yeah, but I also think, too, that's going to be on a weekday. And I'm like, stop doing it on weekdays.
Like, what are you saving the weekends for?
Also, where was all this shit last year when I had my afternoons and nights open? Now it's like I don't have that anymore. Now you're going to start doing all this fun stuff? That sucks.
And it makes you wonder, too. Like, I feel like, and I don't know, maybe they've been playing this in advance, but I feel like there's been a lot more emphasis on older movies.
Mm-hmm. They're
getting like with Jaws, Turtles, and now we got a full month and nothing but classic horror movies for a month straight.
Mostly classic, there's
some of it's dog shit, but a lot of classics. Like, I was impressed with the roster. I was like,
I was too. It was a great variety. It's something. Silver Bullet was not one I would have.
Me neither. I'm like, holy shit, Silver Bullet! And you go play Halloween 3 on Halloween and not the cliche Halloween, like
and Demon Knight, like
like Army of Darkness, Sleepy Hollow, like it was amazing. And Friday 13th Part 3, like of all the movies, they picked the third one. Like that's pretty cool,
And that would be awesome to just go see so you can listen to that disco theme.
Oh, I know, blasting the theater, which hopefully the sound is they have decent. Which I don't know, some of the rooms that they give some of these movies may have like not the best sound, or it's just like generic, But it's still really cool, and I hope it's a success where they'll do it again next year.
Yeah, it would be nice if they kind of keep that tradition and trend going with this sort of stuff. But I think a lot of it just stems from movie theaters are kind of desperate to just get people in there and get their money. I think that's why you have all the popcorn bucket stuff these days. It's like, well, if we get them in there to see this, let's try to sell them this. Because I noticed the Regal at us too. They got like, and you mentioned it's like T-shirts and stuff. It's like, oh, we're doing Jaws 50th. Here's Jaws 50th T-shirts. You want a popcorn bucket to go ahead?
You want a popcorn?
Yeah.
Look what they say. You want a popcorn?
James sent me a message yesterday that I guess he was getting tangled on his words. He was talking about something, and he wanted to say that it's been 2 years, but he was like, two? He just kind of like hung on the two for a minute. I'm like, I need to take that, clip it, and just use it as a random thing. Actually, I'll play this. They put sounds on here, and Tyler can never hear them, so I'm going to play them and see if you at home can hear them. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a round of applause. So
I didn't hear anything. I hear just crickets.
We'll check the replay and see if we heard anything along the way. But no, I think most of it's just trying to get people in more above the else. It's just anything to sell some tickets.
Well, it just shows you too. It's like Hollywood's gotten away with putting out a lot of horse shit, and nothing is like starting to finally bite them in the ass. If theaters are like having to rely on, they only want to show up for the old stuff. You guys aren't putting anything out that's worth a damn.
Yeah. How weird is that now? I mean, because that's how I am. I only really want to go anymore is, they're playing Ninja Turtles, or, wow, Silver Bullet's playing, Demon Knight's playing. I would like to go see those in a movie theater.
Yeah, and knowing that the tickets are only like $8.99. They're not $20 a piece and all that.
Yeah, I should have made mention of that, too, that tickets are only $9.
Yeah, they want people to be in the theater to watch the old stuff. Like, I'll be there.
Which is kind of a detriment because you and I are just like, I don't want there to be a bunch of people in there.
Yeah, I don't want to either because otherwise they can't shut the fuck up for an hour and a half. They got to sit there and do their own commentary to showcase what a fanboy they are of this movie. Have their own little trivia track, talking over the whole movie until they get like, I'm so, he knows a whole lot of shit. I'm gonna go here and sit next to him. because he will shut the fuck up.
You should do that next time that's happening. Just go sit beside him and just sit like this. Like, oh,
Yeah, talk a little louder. Tell what else do you think right now? Are you that bored too? And if you stare at your ass for the next hour and a half, you'll probably enjoy yourself.
Hey man, would you rather do that or watch Wolfen? I kind of want to get Wolfen another shot. I feel like maybe I would like it.
It was boring as shit though.
I think I would like it better now. I think Edward James Olmos balls flopping around,
not flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
That and the fact that it's not really a wolf in it. It's just people who are thinking they're wolves. I think it's.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, because we didn't finish it, but I remember seeing like snippets of it on like the USA Network, like back in the '90s, like kind of intrigued, but also like, where's the monster? Where's the wolf at? Like, where's the werewolf? And we just got this goofy guy with this goofy hairdo as our lead. He's kind of dumpy cop with big ass hair.
Yeah. Or James Olmos, man, this ball's flopping around. That's the only thing I remember about that movie.
We just busted out laughing. He's flopping all over the place, running around on the beach like this.
Yeah. Yeah, Wolfen, I'll probably give another shot.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear your review on that.
Hey, dude, it's streaming on Tubi. There you go. You can watch it too.
Man.
Oh, let me bring the page back up again, though. It's an hour 55, so that's probably why I did.
Long.
That's why it felt
so boring.
That's why it felt so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just sit and watch it with Emily. It's like, Emily, look at his balls fake all over the place. Look at that.
Yeah.
And she's just looking at you like.
But I mean, that was the beauty of it. Was going and renting those videos, not really knowing what we were going to get into. Just hey, let's pick it based off of the cover and the synopsis on the back and the pictures on the back, and let's see what we got.
I was familiar with it. I just didn't know a whole lot about it. Never had got to rent it before, so it was like, let's check this out. I'm like, oh man, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, there wasn't YouTube people reviewing movies back then. There was barely any like real reviews that you could find on the internet.
Yeah, just go on Yahoo. And then some guy was like, "Go read this shit. You'll be glad you did."
I miss those. I miss those reviews. Well, I guess we will go ahead with that. We'll go ahead.
I guess so.
And wrap that up. But I just want to say again that we'll try to be, as we've always strived to be, open and honest with you as best we can as about anything that we can. And hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed everything else after the fact. If you haven't done so, like this video. Leave a comment down below. Maybe hashtag Rockin' Hard Place 2 would be good. Fill the comment section up with that. Tyler, you think of that new name?
Yep, and working on that.
And until later, let the power return.
I got it. I know your damn words.
I'm gonna feel like an idiot again.
Yeah, probably.
Twice in one episode. I got it. Boy, can you give me a hint?
I'm trying to not go super Captain Obvious here. Oh yeah. Hey, what's that in your face? Huh? All right, I'll throw out another one here. All right. First you want to kill me. Now you want to kiss me. Blow.
Damn it. Oh God!
If I'm going to go, all right, because
no, that one like struck the chord, and I'm like, I know it's there in the deep recesses.
All right, I'm going to go a little obvious, not crazy obvious. Yo, she bitch, let's go.
Oh, okay, Army of Darkness. Damn it.
Okay.
So the obvious one, of course, you were probably going to go with you're leading. How's it go? You're only leading to two things: Jack and shit. And,
I should have went with that one, but I just thought like, I just like his when he gets pissed. I got it. I know your damn words. He's just like pissed in that moment. Yeah,
that's especially the way that you said I got it. I'm like, yeah, it's Bruce Campbell.
Fuck. Yeah.
Which
I didn't want to go like Fatu, Barata.
It's funny though that you always go more Army of Darkness, and I remember
Yeah.
you saying before that you thought Evil Dead 2 was too comedic, but actually, if you go and you watch Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness is more comedic than
No,
Evil Dead
I
2.
actually have never seen all of Evil Dead 2, and I've seen Evil Dead. I just feel like I love the setting and the story, but some of the special, they drag on and on and on to the point like, I get it. This is supposed to be gross and nasty. Can we please move on here? It's just where the story will just pan so much. I mean, because there's some genuinely creepy stuff in that first Evil Dead. And then the second one, I've just seen snippets of it. Because when I realized it's just a remake of the first one, basically, I was like, what's the point of this? But even though the ending of it sets up, Army of Darkness, I think I got so fed up with everyone just sucking the dick of the Evil Dead trilogy to the point I'm like, I'm so tired of people talking, and just to the point you're just like, I'm good, I'm done. I don't.
So maybe you're due for a rewatch of Evil Dead 2 then.
Yeah, and actually watch it from beginning to end. Like I said, I've just seen chunks of it. I've just,
oh man,
everyone praised the shit out of the movie.
Yeah,
I've never met anyone who said they didn't love that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
But I love Army of Darkness because that was the first one I saw. I had a blast watching it. My teens was spent watching and then buying it like cheap at Kmart, and couldn't wait for the movie Max to come out.
Yeah, God, Army of Darkness has gotten so many releases.
Oh man, I couldn't get over. I mean, I just still have the two. I have like the standard DVD and the boomstick edition. I've yet to upgrade.
You need to get it.
Yeah, I'm due for an upgrade.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably the 4K of it's probably out at this point that has like all the cuts and everything.
Which I'm like, I'd rather just have the theatrical cut. The original ending where he wakes up and it's like the end of the world, like that's a fun ending, but I'd much rather him go back to S-Smart, take care of a Deadite, and then get the girl at the end. Like that. Yeah. That's my quintessential Ash ending.
Well, give Evil Dead 2 another rewatch.
I'll make that my for this month. You have my word. I will sit down and watch it, permitting I can find to stream someplace on one of the many platforms I have. Hopefully, streaming somewhere.
It's on HBO.
All right, I got HBO Max.
Yeah, so there you go.
All right, well, I'll get it watched and get a review back, and hopefully I can be part of the cool kids club. Like, yeah, I love it too, man. I went to Hot Topic, got me a new shirt. Evil Dead 2. I
don't think there's much Evil Dead merch at the malls anymore.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably just more like it's Renaissance of Pokemon and shit like that. It's coming back, which is like, God, like, shouldn't that just stay back in the late 90s and early 2000s?
I mean, Jinkos are back, man. So I don't know.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
God. I don't know if it's to the point that the Jinko brand itself is back in like your Hot Topics or whatever, but yeah, the baggy pants are back in style.
God.
Yeah.
God, the think that what we had was just this crazy ass fad that just seemed like, this is ridiculous, but we all bought into it.
Yeah, it lasted from like it kind of hit here around like 98 and lasted till about early 2000.
Yeah. It was
2001. So it was only a couple of years, but yeah, it's back. Because Josh messaged me. Sorry, I got choked on the water. Josh messaged me and was just like, they're back. And he bought a pair in stores. Like JCPenney. It's like some knockoff thing.
Where the hell is there a JCPenney around here still?
Valley View still has it.
Oh, they still got one. Wow.
Yeah, so he some knockoff brand he bought him. He's like, yeah, well, you know how Josh talks. It's like, yeah, it felt like good times. He said they were super comfortable. I'm like, I don't think I could go back to that. No. now it looks like I'm crying about the Jinkos. I'm getting nostalgic.
There, go back. I want some popcorn.
I don't think I could go back to no. Jinkos.
I like relaxed fit jeans, or the stretchy material. I think it works better.
Yeah,
for me wearing jeans. I have no desire to wear excessively baggy jeans.
We should though one day. It'd be fun.
Yeah, look like the t-shirts of like Bugs and Tasmanian Devil wearing like baggy ass clothes. Used to have like t-shirts of back.
Hey, that was a good fad too, man.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed that.
Looney Tunes dressed as rappers.
Yep, the crisscross.
Yeah,
fad. Yeah. I remember it was like in school they would have those. It was like we had ones like backwards days, so you just wore your
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, good times. I don't know. Thanks for watching. We'll get you guys on the next one.
Is that a peach fruit roll-up? Because you don't see many. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Are you lost?